Charge and voltage for a capacitor. Today we are going to investigate the relationship between charge stored in and voltage across a capacitor. In our circuit we have a variable power supply, we have a voltmeter to accurately record the voltage output, we have a capacitor, we have a coulometer to measure the charge stored by the capacitor, and we have a two-way switch which charges the capacitor from the power supply when connecting them both, and discharges the capacitor through the coulometer when switched the other way. We will record the charge stored for a 470 nanofarad and a 220 nanofarad capacitor for 5 different voltages. First, we will look at the 220 nanofarad capacitor. With our output voltage at 1 volt, we move the two-way switch towards the power supply to charge the capacitor. To discharge the capacitor, we move the two-way switch towards the coulometer and record the charge. So it's 183 nanocoulombs. 183 nanocoulombs. With our voltage now at 2 volts, we again turn the switch so the capacitor is charged. We can reset the coulometer and then switch towards the coulometer to see how much charge is stored for 2 volts. So it is 362 nanocoulombs. So with our voltage now at 3 volts, we can switch the switch towards the supply to charge the capacitor again, reset the meter, and there is 544 nanocoulombs stored at 3 volts. So at 4 volts, we have 726 nanocoulombs. And finally at 5 volts, charge our capacitor, reset the coulometer, and we have 906 nanocoulombs at 5 volts. We can now swap out our 220 nanofarad capacitor for a 470 nanofarad capacitor. So at 1 volt, we'll charge the 470 nanofarad capacitor and discharge it through the coulometer. So we've got 331 nanocoulombs, so 331 nanocoulombs. For 2 volts, we have 653 nanocoulombs. At 3 volts, there is 982 nanocoulombs stored. At 4 volts, there is 1,301, and at 5 volts, there is 1,627 nanocoulombs. Here's the full results in a table. And here's the results quickly sketched out into a graph. So our blue trend line is for the 220 nanofarad capacitor, and our orange trend line is for our 470 nanofarad capacitor. So we can see there is a positive linear relationship between charge and voltage.